Wow, look at all these beautiful people on here today. God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'd like to start off by thanking Mr. Harrison Mills. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Ismail, just jumping on right now. Good morning, sir. Appreciate you so much. Miss Kathleen Williams, good morning. Dee Dee just joined us. Miss Kimberly Garcia, thank you so much. Miss Marie, Miss Connor, thank you for joining. Mr. Dale Ransom, Miss Pat Robinson in Oakland, California. Sensational in Florida. Where's that lady out with them glasses? I got to see those glasses. You know, that's my thing. I got to see her go. No, she got the bling, the bling, the bling, the bling. Mr. Bill Bailey, good morning, sir. Miss Marcia Carter, good morning. Mr. Payon in Japan, good morning, senor. Thank you, sir. I forgot that's next. Anyway, Mr. Julian Lewis, Regional Director, we'll be right back with you, sir. Thank you so much. Mr. Belinda Batiste, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Mr. Bill Howard. Today I didn't get the Bill Bailey and the Bill Howard together. They were one yesterday back to back. There we go. Miss Vernell Hughes out in South Carolina. Dear, you're on here 1 hour early today. 1 hour early. She kind of scared her spot. Miss Caroline Baker, good morning. Thank you so much. Mr. Lance Winberg, thank you so much. Kelly, excuse me. Mr. Marvin Carter, Regional Director, thank you so much. Miss Martinez from Iowa, good morning, dear. Winston Herbert, New York, thank you so much. Miss Ursula Allen, thank you so much. Regional Director, Miss Luana Pinedo just joined us in Fresno, thank you so much. We also like to make Miss Evans, man, that lady is always faithful out there in South Carolina, thank you. And Mr. Curtis Evans, Regional Director out in South Carolina, thank you for joining us this morning. Miss Natalie, thank you so much for her in Las Vegas. Mr. Corey Alexander in Fresno, good morning. Mr. Freddie Sherman, good morning. Hope, H-O-P-E, helping other people excel. I like that. Mr. Ed Navarro, good morning, sir. Mr. David Brenner, good morning so much. Miss Claudia Collins, good morning, Pastor. Chris McDowell, good morning, sir. Miss Brian Baker, Regional Director out of Las Vegas, good morning, sir. Regional Vice President Platinum, Miss Jocelyn Driscoll, my God, woo, boy, look out. Gail Wiggins, good morning, dear. Miss Anna Yaez out in Texas, thank you so much. Miss Tracy Gilmore, part of the Bakery Organization. Miss Tamara McDonald, excuse me. Good seeing you back on the call, young lady. Missed a few. And Michael Jenkins as well. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, hold on a second here. Lupi, good morning. And also Mr. Harold Gaston. We got a great call lined up to you today. We are so appreciative of these people, the leader today. Tonight, at 6 o'clock p.m., right back here, we're doing a 1 through 10, So get your people on here. And I know some of you've seen it, but can you read the boxes? If not, come back and watch and learn so you can be in place as your group grows to be able to do a great presentation that is bar none. Well, today we got this young man who hails from Southern California. You know who he is. He's with us every Tuesday this month. His daughter just turned 15 years old. He went out and got some bullets for his gun. Just kidding. He's a great father. He's a great leader. He brings a lot to the table. I'm so proud of him, and thank God that he's doing our calls for us, and we have a lot to learn from him. I've got lots of notes, and okay, let's watch this. Last week, what was last week? He had a shirt on last week, remember? Be you, they'll adjust. Be you, they'll adjust. I like that. And the week before that, he talked about something I need to work on more, and that's the internet. So without further ado, from San Diego, California, the great, the one and only Regional Director, Mr. Julian Lewis. Let's give him a hand.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. How are you doing today?
Sensational. Now we got you, sir.
Oh, man, I love to hear that. I'm excited. You guys notice that anytime anyone asks Mr. Thomas how he's doing, he's above incredible. He's outstanding. He's awesome. He's sensational. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So I was waiting for you to say it. It's a positive way of thinking. But Mr. Thomas is not only a mentor to me, he's been a great friend to me throughout the years. He's seen me through so many things, ups, downs, giving me advice about my daughter, giving me advice about life, how to handle struggles, important situations that have happened, come up, things. Can we agree life happens to everyone? And what I love about him, he keeps an even keel, and his thought process through it all is the reason why he's been able to have so much success. But the way he gives of himself not just on here, but off of here, and the conversations we've had where it's just him and I, is the reason why he's so successful and the reason why people love him so much, because he doesn't give because he's trying to get something from you. He gives because he truly wants to see you blessed and succeed and have the similar blessings that he's been able to enjoy in his life. And I think that's so incredible because there are not a lot of people out there in the world that are like that. So Mr. Thomas, again, I commend you. I appreciate you for everything you do for me, my family, and everyone that I know you're connected with throughout the world. So thank you, sir. Now,
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to talk to all of you this morning. How's everyone doing? You guys doing great? Good, good. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. I almost said hear that, right? And I just want to give you a brief background real quick about myself, just in case you're not familiar with me. Prior to getting involved with this company, I was a senior systems engineer. Through building this business, focused on wanting to get home to my daughter, I learned something new, which is network marketing. I never did network marketing before. I'd never done anything like ACN before. As an engineer, I didn't have to really connect with people this way, but through learning a few sets of skills, by stepping out of my comfort zone, having a strong enough reason why, I was able to build a business that allowed me to come home to my daughter when she was 6 months old. My daughter just turned 15 years old, January 12th. It's so amazing because even though I was there the whole time, it still went quickly. And that scares me because I know a lot of people aren't with their family members right now. They're not in a situation where they can be, and they don't realize that it's gonna go by in a blink of an eye, no matter what. Why not work your butt off right now so that you can be in the present moment with the people that you care about the most? So that's what happened to me. Now, since I've been home, there's been a lot of things that have changed. There have been reasons why that have come into, that I've thought about that really push me forward. And so I see why Mr. Thomas is doing what he's doing. So one of the things is people oftentimes, when they don't understand how success works or they don't understand life, and I'm saying this, I'm only 40 years old, but I've been able to experience a lot. And I see T. Ledoux Hayes smiling over there. We've experienced a lot together, and she's been in the trenches with me in San Diego, and she'll tell you it's just people sometimes say, well, Mr. Thomas, why doesn't he retire? And whenever I hear someone say that, I know, I don't care if they're 50, if they're 60, or if they're 20, they don't understand life. Because retire, first of all, if you look at the word, it sounds like you're tired twice. Have you ever thought about that? Like, you're not tired, you're retired. So you're tired all over again. That doesn't even make sense. What retire is something sounds like death. So why do we get caught up in retiring? Because we usually have to do something that we don't want to do for a certain period of time, and then we get a break at the end. And that's what we consider retirement. But if you're living life on your terms, if you understand that life is about handling or focusing on challenges, and it's exciting to you to get through challenges and be victorious, and that's your life, why would you ever want to retire from that? And if you've ever thought about it, if you look at a vehicle, if you look at a car that is brand new, that you pull into the garage and you don't operate for 6 months to a year, everything in that car starts to break down. It starts to deteriorate. Everything in this world is the exact same way. So when you stop doing whatever it is, you just stop, all of a sudden your mind starts to break down, your body starts to break down. You can't function because nothing in this world is supposed to stop unless it's dead. And even in that process, there's still things that are happening. So I just wanted to say that when you're looking at ACN, look at it as a component of your lifestyle. Don't look at it as something I do until, because when you look at it as something or an aspect of your lifestyle, you'll learn more from it. So positivity, how's your outlook on life? How's your outlook on your day? How's your outlook on what it is that you're going through? I had a coaching call with an individual yesterday, and they were telling me about a lot of the tragedies that have happened in their lives. They were telling me about some of the things that have happened. They had a really tough, younger part of their life. But then they told me about some of the things that were great. And they said, well, you know, I didn't have my own father in my life, but I had three individuals that were, each one of them, three men that gave me certain things. Each one of them gave me something different. And those three men, I kind of put together as a father figure, right? Because they each gave me something important that a father would give you. And then this sounds like a positive. Can we all agree? But then they told me that that person, he said that person, those people died. And so now I don't want to get close to anyone because I know they're going to die. And I said, okay, so that's the negative way of looking at it. And so at the end of the conversation, to make a long story short, basically I said, well, what if your perspective was almost like when we eat a dish? You know, how many of you have ever had, let's think about your favorite food. Think about your favorite food from your favorite restaurant right now. And you have it in front of you. And you're excited because the plate is coming to you. You have it in front of you. Can we agree we know that that meal isn't going to last forever? We all know that, right? So what happens when we're getting close to the last bite? What happens? We start paying more attention to it. We're like, we could even be in conversation, but we're looking at the plate like, oh, wait, let me make sure I have a little bit of everything I need on that last bite. Isn't that true? And then once you know you're about to take the last bite, how many of you, it can't be just me, I know I did this since I was a little kid, but how many of you, yes, Hope said it, how many of you do this? You put it in your mouth, but that last bite, you kind of close your eyes and you just like, how many of you do that other than me? So you're savoring the last bite. Now, once the bite is gone, are you crying throughout the week because there's no more of your favorite meal? Or when you bring up that favorite meal, do you get excited and you say, I remember that moment? See, so, and I shared with him that, I said, you know, these people aren't in your life and it's fine to grieve them not being there, but are you focused on the fact that they left you? Or are you focused on the moments that created the memories that shaped the person you are? And he said, well, I feel like I don't want to do certain things because they're not here anymore. And I said, well, did they prepare you so that you could do them on your own because they're always here watching you? So the reason I'm saying that is because the way you perceive what's going on in life is going to change the way that you attack life. And so my question to all of you while you're taking notes is really, how are you perceiving the things that are going on in your life? Are you looking at those things as things that are happening to you? Is life happening to you, or is life happening for you? See, isn't it interesting how we can look at games, and we know human beings' DNA are for games, for challenges. We get addicted to puzzles. We get addicted, like people are addicted to Sudoku. I remember my first mentor's mom, she's addicted to Sudoku. She loves numbers. She loves puzzles. And Mr. Thomas, I'm talking about Mrs. Bragg, his mom. She loves puzzles. She has a calculator in her mind. I mean, this woman loves those type of things. There are people that get addicted to gaming. My daughter is a gamer. She loves video games, right? Then there are people that get addicted to card games or word games, puzzles. And there's something that is exciting about getting a challenge, not knowing what it is in the beginning. Listen to this carefully. Looking at that challenge, not knowing how to beat it when you first look at it. And this little heart drop that's even in a game, you're like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this. and then you attack it. And then that feeling you get when you win pushes you to go to the next challenge. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Whoever tried to beat Tetris, I'm an 80s baby, and then was upset when you realize there's no way to beat it. So all I can tell you is that feeling you get when you win pushes you to the next challenge when it comes to a game. But in real life, for some reason, we don't see the connection, and we look and we try to avoid the challenges, AKA problems in our life. And then our life has no meaning, and we don't realize that our depression or that lack feeling comes from not living in our power as creations that are in love with solving problems. See, people teach us to run away from or to avoid problems. A lot of times we're trying to eliminate problems in our life because we don't realize, going back to what I said about Mr. Thomas never retiring, we don't realize that the point of life isn't to get things perfect so we can sail off into the sunset. The point in life is being excited for the next challenge, getting through that and looking at that challenge, not knowing how you're going to get in, not knowing how you're going to get through it, and then hunkering down, figuring it out. And when you do, utilizing that excitement to propel you to get into the next one. I'm saying all these things to say this for ACN. Here's what you need to understand. I thought about this so much after Friday night leadership. So, Mr. Thomas, before I get into this, because I thought about this a lot, this is going to be one of those tough conversations. Is it okay that I have a kind of tough conversation with everyone? All right. So I need to talk to you. I need to have a heart-to-heart with all of you. Yes, you need to be positive. You need to set your mind to having a positive outlook, because the challenge is in your life to build you. But then, listen, guys, I need to explain something that you may not know, or that you may be praying is not this way, but it actually is. Because a lot of people miss having success in their life, meaning it eludes them because they're looking for a shortcut and they don't understand this part. Okay, if you look at Mr. Thomas, if you look at Miss Natasha Ismail, if you look at Mr. Byron Nelson, you look at Mr. Aaron Burt or Chanel Burt, you look at Patrick Mazer, Michael Mazer, or Melissa and Jeff Street. If you look at all of these people and you sat them down, myself, we all sat down in a room, okay? And you were able to be a fly on the wall and listen to our conversations. What you would notice is that we have a similar conversation. If you were to put, let's say, separators between us and asked us each questions, and we didn't know what the questions were going to be at first, and you had us write down our own answers about success, do you know that without us knowing how each other is going to answer, if you were to take each one of those answers and you were to read them out loud, I could bet you money that each one of those answers would be almost the same. Now, why is that? I want you to answer in the chat. Why is that? Why would our answers be almost the same? Because I hear a lot of questions being asked, a lot of questions that are being asked on Friday leadership. And Mr. Thomas says, you know, some of these questions, it's like he would say, wait, I'm getting these answers, I'm glad. Okay, so Hope says like-minded. No. Sensational says, because you study the same information? Close, but no. Great minds think alike? No, has nothing to do with that. Birds of the feather? No. Success leaves clues. You're getting there almost. Okay, Mr. McGowan says, you all have built a wave of successful steps together. We didn't do it together, but we all built something. So that's key. Success leaves clues, mindset, nope. Footprints, nope. Common sense, no. We followed a similar system. That's part of it. Persistence, part of it. You have learned to feel the fear and do it anyway. That is key. Sensational, you're getting closer. We plugged in, not quite. Posture and attitude, no. Momentum, no. Passion and belief, no. You all use the system in place. We used it, but that's part of it. You guys are some of you are kind of touching it a little. Strong desire to win, no. And that's why I asked that question, because 99% of the people here didn't get it. And that is why you ask those questions on Friday. Here's what it is. We all went all out. 100% of us went all out. Remember I told you about the challenge in the beginning, where you face a challenge, you look at it, your heart drops a little bit, but you dive in anyway? We dove in this business and in our own lanes, because someone said together. We didn't do this together. I didn't do this with Melissa. I didn't do this with Patrick. Natasha didn't do this with Aaron Burke. We did this in our own lanes. The reason why we have the same conversations is because we went through the same struggles in our own lanes. We decided to go through the same struggles. We didn't shortcut it. I didn't ask Mr. Thomas, how do I say this to this person, and him give me an answer. What happened is I said, Mr. Thomas, how do I approach the business? And Mr. Thomas said, here's what I would recommend. And then I threw myself off the cliff, and I got those scars, and I got bloodied up, and I got beat up, and I learned the lessons by going and walking that path. It had nothing to do with asking and taking notes from the people that are now professors that did it before me. It had everything to do with me asking them, what kind of food do I need to take on my journey? How do I need to prepare myself for this journey? Because there are going to be a lot of unknowns. See, the difference between someone who's massively successful and someone who never will be is the fact that the person that is massively successful has the courage to throw themselves into the unknowns and learn them for themselves. Everyone else doesn't want to deal with something that is a 4-letter word. Do you know what it is? I'm going to write it in the chat because some of you are about to curse at me, and it's not a curse word. Nope. It's nope. But it's associated. It's associated with fear. It's associated with work. Do you know what it is? Does anyone know? Nope. It's associated with failure. It's a feeling that's associated with failure. It's a feeling that's associated with putting in hard work. It's a feeling that's associated with fear. There it is, pain. The reason why you ask those questions that you ask on Friday is because you're trying to avoid pain. And because you keep trying to avoid pain, you will never have the success that Al Thomas has. You will never have the success that a Julian Lewis or a Natasha Ismail has. Because you are trying to avoid pain, you're trying to ask questions that will allow you to tiptoe past pain. And because you're trying to tiptoe past pain, something else happens. You avoid payment. And you cannot get success without paying the price. You can't have the conversation. You won't be able to do it. I don't care how many Fridays you get on. I'm telling you this out of love. I don't care how many 9 o'clock mornings you get on. You will not have the success you want in life ever, ever. Because you're trying to avoid the pain. That's why you ask. That's why. And look, I'm gonna be real. My team looks at me and they know it. They can see it in my face. If you know me on Fridays, you see it in my face. I'll hear some questions. And I'm like, yo, are you for real right now? Did you really just ask that? So you're waiting all week so that you can get cheat codes that will allow you to avoid the pain. You know, my mom, when I was younger, I was so into everything. I gave my mom a heart attack. My brother, he started walking even quicker, so it was worse. But I remember seeing when we were in Key West, Florida, and we didn't have a gas stove. We had one of those electric stoves, and you know, it had the coil. You guys know the coil. And when you turn it up to hot, the coil gets bright red. But to a child, that looks like, ooh, I need to see what that is. And I remember my mother telling me, don't touch it, it's hot. Now, how did I know as a toddler what that even meant? I didn't. I had to touch it. And I was able to see that red spiral on the palm of my hand. And I hollered and I hollered. And I was so young, but pain like that, you never forget. Do you understand what I'm saying? Some of you don't. You think you do, but you don't. And so guess what I did? I never touched it again. And something else special happened. When my mother said something was hot, I went back to that experience and I understood without having to touch something else. Because I did something. I learned. Some of you are trying to succeed without learning. You're trying to approach success like we approach education. You're trying to memorize and regurgitate. But that's not real learning, that's education. You learn, true learning comes from understanding. And understanding comes from you taking the walk. That's the monk's journey. You have to take the walk. And if you don't, like I said last week, immerse yourself in the process, then you will never be able to have the conversation. How many of you, tell me the truth, have ever wondered why on Friday when questions are answered, myself or Natasha or Mr. Thomas can answer like that, like that? Be honest, raise your hand. How many of you have been like, wow, that's so crazy. How are they doing that? You know it. And the reason is because we've experienced that pain. We've experienced the struggle. We've gone through it. So I wanted to clear that up because on Fridays, I want to be able to see all of you ask questions that are based on being in the process. Because sometimes I get sad because some of the questions I hear you ask, I know you're not in the process. And that's where some of that frustration that Mr. Thomas has. It's like when a child comes up to their parent and a 5-year-old says, and the parent already knows the answer. And the parent says, "Did you eat those cookies?" And the 5-year-old says no, not knowing there's cookies all over his lips. And then the parent says, Chris McDowell, did you eat those cookies? And he licks the chocolate and realizes it and says, well, I had one. Guys, we can tell who's doing the business based on the questions that you ask. And the frustration that the leaders have is because we're willing to give 100% of ourselves to run in the trenches with you. The only reason I personally sponsor people on a regular basis, consistently, is so that I can stay in the trenches and have a phase 1 conversation with the people that want to run with me. And I don't get into phase 2, which is managing my IBOs. But what good is it if you're just trying to do the cheat codes and ask me everything so that I can give it to you and you can use it to avoid pain? Number one, you will never be able to do that. It doesn't work because you won't know what it is because you've never experienced it. Number two, because you haven't gone through the pain and paid for it, you won't appreciate the success. And so even if you accidentally get the success, you'll lose it. So guys, I just wanted to have this heart to heart because Freddie Sherman, you can be successful. I already see we matching in shirts right now. That tells me that you can be successful, right? Marie Perez, you can be. Eileen, whatever you want to do, you can be successful. Sensational, you can be. Bill Howard, Nigel, T, you already know. We've had these talks personally. Marcia Carter, Catherine Williams. But no one's going to be able to do it for you. And the questions you ask are trying to attempt us to, in a way, do it for you. You got to put your hand on that thing. I'm telling you, that pain is the only way to truly experience it. So I hope some of you really caught this morning's conversation, and I pray you decide to immerse yourself with an inquisitive mind to your own journey, going deep in the process and saying, why, wait, I'm starting to get to results. Why? Why is this happening? Ask yourself these questions. And when you start to go inward through your activity and ask yourself these questions, you'll start to have an awareness of what success feels like, tastes like, and looks like. So, Mr. Thomas, I want to hand the call back to you. If there's any questions anyone may have, they can ask them. And if not, I hope someone got a light bulb moment, because every one of you are intelligent enough to figure this thing out. But you have to stop asking questions to get to cheat codes, and you need to jump into the work, because we know who's doing it and who isn't. Okay? All right, Mr. Thomas, back to you, sir.
Wow, my God, I tell you what, that is a confirmation. We definitely know who's in the trenches and who's not by the questions. That's so. You just confirmed. I had a little under a dozen people on the leadership ETL circle call this morning, and I got off the call because exactly what you're saying, man, you just talked right in what I talked about. I got off the call in 10 minutes. Like, you got to go through the pain. You got to they try to avoid the pain. They try to, oh my God, this is great. And I hope you guys, that's why even Friday I said, go back and listen to what Mr. Lewis said. Go back and look at listen to Tasha's Mill. They're trying to avoid why are you trying to avoid the pain? We all got to go through it. So let's give Mr. Julian Lewis, this was a powerful call. This was a very powerful call. We could tell by your questions on Friday, are you in the trenches or you just want a quick, thick answer and still don't do anything with the business? You got to do and go through the pain. It's like, I remember a long time ago, I'm not going to say this gentleman's name, but he said this: if you find yourself in the junkyard, don't slow down, give it gas, get out of there, because we all got to go through it. Some of you guys set up camps and and it's fireplaces, but you got to go through it. There's no avoiding the pain. So can we show Mr. Julian Lewis some more love? Come on, put something in the
Mr.
chat. How much you
Thomas.
guys enjoyed it in the chat?
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Thomas. So I want to say lastly, so if you don't go through the pain, if you don't, you won't define yourself. And if you don't define yourself for yourself, you will get crushed into others' fantasies of you and eaten alive.
Wow. Wow.
So get out there
Wow.
and deal with it, figure it out.
Everybody wants the microwave oven or the instant coffee. They don't want to go through the process. You got to go through the pain to get there, folks. You got to go through the pain. This was powerful. You got to, the quick fix answer is not going to do it. You got to go through it to understand the pain. That's so true. Folks, I want to thank Mr. Lewis for delivering such a timely message and a confirmation for what I talked about this morning. For those that were with me this morning, you know exactly what I said. It's just like I called him up and told him what to say. I know, but that's how like minds think alike. You got to go through the pain. And remember now, not only that, leaders in ACN, we go all out. We go all out. One last time you actually went all out? One of the demonstrations I did today, Mr. Lewis, kind of to piggyback on, I actually, everybody out there real quickly, stretch as high as you can stretch. Stretch high as you can stretch. Come on. Stretch high as you can stretch. Now stretch a little further. And that's exactly, you're comfortable with the first stretch. You thought that was all you had to give. Mr. Lewis just defined that. You can do more. That's painful. I know. That's where the gain is. Wow. One more time, let's give Mr. Lewis, put in the chat real quick. Show him how much you appreciated today's call. Whoo, tonight.